Hello! So today's going to be a story time kind of day. So if you don't want to watch, that's fine. Don't watch, just stop now. But hey, keep watching because you might find it interesting. This is Project Kabaru. It is a second generation Ford car? A car 2? Sure, it's a car 2 or a car 3. Anyway, it's a Ford car. Let's start this story at the start, kind of. So my brother and I bought this Kabaru with classic Subaru engine and running gear. It was built by one of little brother's friends during lockdown, during COVID. Probably that's maybe not aware of in the UK. So we had a lockdown for I can't even remember how long it was, where basically nobody went to work or did anything. You all got paid to stay in the house. So being a professional car buildery person, body shop, rally car builder, obviously they were bored during lockdown. So what they did was took an old car and an old Subaru and mushed them together. So it should have, in this space, would be a boxer engine. That's the four-wheel drive Subaru gearbox. You can see it's got front drive shaft, and obviously through at the back. And inside it's a bit rally-esque at the moment because I've taken the dashboard out to put the new bits in. As I say, it started life with classic running gear. Now, I've had two blobeyes, so I know how to work the slightly more modern side of Subarus. I've taken apart a few of them and put them back together now. So I decided I want to take out all of the classic Subaru stuff and replace it with more modern blow-by Subaru stuff. So it's got a blow-by wire and loom and a dashboard. Well, I did have a dashboard. It's got blow-by clocks. You can just about see them in there. So it's got all of that and all the blow-by parts. This is where the story kind of goes. So that was fine. So I took out all the classic parts. Oh, wait, previous to this, I bought a used WRX wagon as the donor vehicle for all of the blow-by parts. And I bought it, the gentleman I bought it from, he didn't know the problems it had. Everyone just assumed it had an oil leak coming from the rear main seal. Hold on. Everyone assumed that this rear main seal on the engine was leaking, it had blown out and it was leaking. Because when you started the car, it ran for 30 seconds and then oil started to pish out from underneath it. And everyone just assumed that it was that seal. So I bought the car, took the engine out of it, took the classic engine out of that, took the WRX blow-by engine, took it out, swapped them over, put it in. Because being a Subaru, all of the bits fit. You can just leave your classic gearbox and all your other classic-y bits and your new engine will just bolt straight onto it and it works just fine. Put it in. I changed the seal first. Took the seal off, put a new seal on, put it in there, started up, and after 30 seconds oil pished out of it. And I was very, very, very upset at this point. So obviously, took it all back apart. And let's get my engines right. Took it all apart and started to look at the engine. And that was when I found out that this bolt here, can you see? There's a bolt here. This bolt was finger tight. Now, for those of you that don't know boxer engines, this engine is basically in two halves. It splits right down the middle. See, can you see that line right there? There's a left-hand side, there's a right-hand side, your crankshaft's right in the middle, and these two halves get bolted together from either side through the head. Now, this engine had had a rebuild, supposedly a good rebuild. But what had happened was, they hadn't bolted the two halves of the engine together properly. They had just finger tightened them and walked away. And it's one of those situations, it happens everywhere when you're doing a thing. You'll be doing a thing, putting something back together, you'll do everything up, and then someone will talk to you or interrupt you, and you'll go away, and you'll come back, and you'll have forgotten at what stage you were at. Now, if you're a professional, you don't get distracted. You just lock yourself in a room and you build it till you're finished, so that doesn't happen. So what had happened was, The crankshaft had been rattling about inside the engine and had basically wrecked a lot of parts inside, as well as spewing oil out everywhere. And this is where my story begins. So I took the knackered, that's this one, the knackered engine from the WRX, the blobeye, the wagon, and I had it professionally rebuilt. Now this is that engine now professionally rebuilt. You can see there's like new nuts and bolts everywhere, and well, hopefully you can see it's got a brand new crankshaft now, and well, all the holes are plugged up with the cloth still because it hasn't moved yet. It is at 0 miles. It is new crank, new pistons, a few of the other bits and bobs. The heads are different heads from another engine I had, and camshafts. I think the valves are original and it had good rods in it, but this one's now all weighted, balanced. It's almost a blueprinted engine. It's all the pistons and valves and rods are all weighted, so it's almost perfectly balanced now. And it has done 0 miles, and it is waiting to go back into the Kabaru. Now, I didn't want to take a basically brand new engine that's just been built and has done 0 miles because it needs bedding in, and put it into a basically untested format. It did drive and run as the classic setup, but it wasn't particularly happy. It didn't run very well. So I bought another engine. Now this one is, I'm just going to say it's fucked. So it's already got knocking rods. So that was like £200 for just the block, the engine. That's what I bought. I've actually just finished putting all the bits back on it. So I'm going to rebuild this engine once I put a cam cover back over here and tidy up a few more bits and bobs. Get this engine ready and running to go back in there so I can put this in and make sure everything runs the way it's supposed to. It's got fuel pressure. It's got the right emissions. Not emissions, you know what I mean? It's not running too lean or too rich. It's actually running fairly normally. All my pipe work all fits and is all plumbed in, because it will have a front mount intercooler as well, so I'll need to get piping to make that work properly at the radiator and the coolant side. Basically, just get it up, running, and running properly, and then I'll take the crappy engine back out, swap all the intake manifold and the alternator and all that onto the new, good engine, and then put that in, and it'll be ready to take out and bed in, which is basically really dull driving for about 200 miles and changing the oil every time. Basically putting in break-in oil, running it, running up, running down, changing the oil, changing the filter, cutting the filter open, make sure there's no bits of metal inside the filter, all that, running in, bedding in stuff, and then drive it slowly around and about. Crail, probably, I imagine, to bed the engine in, and then it'll be bedded in, and then we'll be able to actually finish the car off properly. Because once the engine's bedded in, it's a Subaru engine, and well, as you can see, it takes basically no time to take the whole engine in and out. It's easy peasy because I've made the front come fully off, so you can just take the whole engine straight out of the front now. And that is my plan. Get the new engine bedded in, and then I'll start to worry about changing the suspension over to the more modern suspension, maybe put in EC coil over something to raise it or widen it or stiffen it or soften it or something. But that is my plan, and that is Project Kabaru, which I'll be working on and off as I go along, and I'll maybe post a video here and there of me finishing off what I'm doing, building it. So this is a Boxer engine from the Subaru. Yeah. Oh, this is the fucked one. I was just drilling out bolts that were stuck in the block to bolt in. I know there's a few bits here that aren't attached yet because my bolts are in the way and I need to, but those things can get fixed once it's in the car. And then I don't actually care about this engine. It can run itself to death for all I care. It was, like I say, it was £200. I'd rather destroy a £200 engine in the learning process of getting it all up and running and ready for the really expensive rebuild engine that's over there. There's the poor drift Baru in the corner. That's a different project. That is a Subaru that is rear-wheel drive and likes to go sideways. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this, good. If you Didn't. That's a you problem, not a me problem. I'm doing this anyway. I was having fun in the workshop. Oh, my Chinese Bluetooth thing is turned off. Smashing. Excellent. Well, I'll leave you here. And hey, if you've got any, I don't know if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll try my best to answer them. And as always, thanks for watching.